The chances are pretty good you heard about Stephen Colbert being axed from CBS. Well, not really axed. They just didn't renew his contract going over to the new ownership, which is Sky Media. And they took a look at what's going on, the money. He's got a $100 million budget. And CBS thought they'd make 120 million, but turns out they're only making 70, so they're effectively losing money with Stephen Colbert. So they said, look, we're not renewing late night, and Stephen Colbert, we're not renewing your contract. All right, that's been a fight been going on. But a new one has arisen. And this one goes into radio, namely radio broadcasting. And now, Sirius, as you may or may not know, is a, subscription system. You've got a Sirius capable radio that you can receive satellite signals. You could pay money if you want to be able to listen to Howard Stern as well as all the other channels on the Sirius situation. And they've got a lot of channels. I mean, hundreds of channels. Everything you want to listen to, whether it's college or you want to hear Fox News being broadcast on the radio instead of watching it on TV, you can do it. They have a lot of good channels on their particular frequency. But one channel in particular you're paying for, actually you're paying a little more for, is the ability to listen to Howard Stern. Now, Howard Stern used to be in New York, or was a New York individual, heard pretty much around the country, and he's very outrageous in what he has to say. Turns out in the last election, he was very much against Donald Trump, very much for the Democrat, Kamala Harris, and he had her on for an interview. Well, obviously, that ruffled a lot of feathers, as you can well imagine. But Howard Stern, who's the guy making $100 million in a 5-year contract, told his listeners, I hate you if you voted for Trump. That's what he said. I hate you if you voted for Trump, and if you did, stop listening to my program. Well, I know a lot of people, regardless of political affiliation, like listening to Howard Stern. Sometimes he's insightful. Sometimes he's interesting. I've listened to Howard Stern. But when he goes and he tells people directly to their face, I hate you because you voted for Trump, do not listen to my show. You know what happened? His ratings on Sirius tanked. Now, you're paying to listen to Howard Stern on Sirius. People decided, I ain't going to do that. I'm not going to be spending my money on you, sir. So now his contract, $100 million, ends up this fall. Now, is Sirius going to offer Howard Stern a different contract? Probably yes. He lost too much of his audience. Can't sell the product. And if you do sell it, you can't sell his show and his advertisers on his show for as much as you got before because the numbers aren't there. Folks, it's a rating game in radio. It's a rating game in television. It's numbers. It's eyeballs. Clients, advertisers, if you will, they want to have many people as possible to see their ad. If you don't have a lot of people, they're not willing to pay for that because they're paying for cost per thousands, CPM, if you will. Well, that's what's happening. Stern lost a majority of his audience, and I got to tell you, folks, you honk off half your audience, and you lose half your audience. Well, guess what? Your product ain't worth as much as it used to. That's why you got to be careful. You try to stay on the straight and narrow, work with both sides. Jay Leno was right. He said if you honk off half of your audience, you're going to lose them. And Jay Leno said, you lose them, that's going to kill you. And it does. That's why he said you work both sides. The great hosts like Johnny Carson, he bashed both sides. A good comedian, a good whatever it happens to be, will go after both sides of an argument, both individuals, both left and right. That's what you do. You don't start going, I'm only on one side, and if you're on the other side, I hate you. I don't want you to listen to me. Howard Stern did that. Will someone else pick him up? Well, it certainly could happen. We don't know. But I'll tell you right now, Howard Stern is coming off of SiriusXM this fall because he is not going to have his contract renewed because he honked off half of his audience. And right now, they don't want to pay $100 million for something that has half the people listening that used to be there. It's a numbers game, folks. I don't care who you are. Stephen Colbert, Howard Stern, anybody. You don't have the numbers, you don't have the audience. You don't have the audience, you ain't worth much to your advertisers. It's the name of the game, and you FAFO. Now you know what happens when you do. Just saying.